penultimate day to the weekend. Enterprise Friday, it is reaching you from the economic heart of Nigeria and Lagos. My name is Henry Bicker. We'll be starting off today with our newspapers just to let you in on everything that is in there, and of course get the opportunity of talking about them. And right after that would be our main conversation also for today. Please do well to check up on us. You can always find us to see much more at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. We're very honored to have with us Emeka Madunago, journalist, public affairs analyst, to see through all that we have for today. Good morning, Emeka.
Thank you. Good morning. My pleasure.
Thank you so very much. All right, let's kick start, of course, with the front daily, the Vanguard newspaper that is, and we have a litany of interesting stories here. Like Kano releases second Bring Peace reps panel, and we have Sharia will ignite war in the Southwest. And Manufacturers Association of Nigeria cautions against a further hike in electricity tariff. Of course, that cannot be oversaid. Looking at the cost of inflation and the consequences of it, it's very important that the Manufacturers Association come on board to step in the gap. And on the top strip here, we have Minister pushes for a transition from the 934 to the 12-4 system of education. How time flies. Nigeria, we started with the 6334 system, and right now we're opting for a 12-4 system of education. But let's talk about the area of concern for today. Opera as IGP, PSC clash over retirement of police officers. And also we have IGP has no power to stop PSC, retired DGs. It's about self-preservation and other issues here. Emeka, let's talk to this particular issue. The Police Service Commission is an institution that every personnel writes on it. The question is, of course, including the IG himself, then why does it look like the Police Service Commission is becoming a subset of the IG? Because the IG, of course, told the retired police officers to disregard everything said by the PSC.
Well, thank you very much. The IG does not have such a power. He doesn't have such a power. He cannot recommend officers for promotion. He cannot recommend officers for dismissal or sacking. That is within the realm of the Police Service Commission. And the Police Service Commission has come out to say that all those who have got to their terminal point should retire. Yes, and I know there has been this issue about trying to extend the service years of the police, police officers. That is still, that is there. I think it was part of the Police Act. But, you see, this unnecessary rivalry between the successive IGs and the Police Service Commission is avoidable. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary because it's as if, you have an IG who is a service chief and reports to the president. Then you have a Police Service Commission that you want the IG to be under. How do you do that?
But who does the PSC report to?
The PSC also reports to the president.
To the president?
But no, it reports to the Minister of Police Affairs. The Minister of Police Affairs reports to the president.
Okay.
So I think, just like the Chief of Defense, the service chiefs report to the Chief of Defense Staff, who in turn reports to the president, I think there should be a streamlining of roles, because there's a Minister of Defense to whom the service chiefs also report to. They report to the Minister of Defense. So you don't have this kind of thing where the Minister of Defense would issue, or the Ministry of Defense will issue a directive and the service chiefs would thwart it. It should not be. It should be well streamlined. Otherwise, you scrap the Police Service Commission and then you have the Ministry of Police Affairs. So the IG will report directly to the to the Minister of Police Affairs. The IG should not be seen as a world unto himself. That is where the problem lies.
So why does he wield so much power?
It's because because politicians see it that it's easy to, that for them they have to protect their own man who is in power. They have to protect their own man who is in power. So what do? They ensure that they, look away from conflicts between the sitting IG and the police service commission, and that's very wrong. How can the police service commission make an order? It is a part of the civil service bureaucracy, and police officers are part of the civil service bureaucracy. It has made an order that they should all retire. The IG, you can only find that in a system that is deliberately chaotic.
I'm talking about a system that is chaotic. A house divided against itself can never stand. Now, every of these elements in the picture all report to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, both the IG, Betoko, and the Police Service Commission. I'd love to ask, since everyone reports to the president, and the president is the one that had made it possible for the IG to remain, then why is it not the PSC is not equally in tandem with the wishes of the president?
No, there is not. The PSC is in charge of administration, is in charge of promotion, is in charge of dismissal of police officers.
But take orders from the president, isn't it?
Through the Ministry of Police Affairs. Now, is a parastatal under the Ministry of Police Affairs. So it is not as if they are not in tandem. It's just that the IG is just trying to overreach himself. One, the Police Act is being challenged. The Police Act that has kept him there. Beyond. Made him. How can you make a law to benefit one man? That is where the problem is. So he's trying to cover himself because there is a talk that he ought to retire, that you shouldn't, that by making him the immediate beneficiary of the amendment of the Police Act, that it was meant to prevent the next in line, who is Mr. Frank Kumba, DIG Frank Kumba, who is from the Southeast, from becoming IG. And that is a serious indictment of President Bola Tinubu. Yes, I'm saying it clearly. Go and investigate it. Look at, you remove an Igbo man from a position, you remove an Igbo person from a position, you put a Yoruba person, or you put a Northerner. What kind of a thing is that? How many Igbos are holding substantive positions in Tinubu's cabinet? It's a shame. You have turned the federal government to the federal, Yoruba government of Nigeria.
Allegedly.
It is. It is not allegedly. Please, it is. Go online. Let's stop this allegedly. When facts are sacred, facts are available, facts are sacred. It's not allegedly. Go and check. Even one of his media aides, Sunday Dare, he published. In fact, he was trying to explain the ridiculous, defend the indefensible. He published the list of appointees under Tinubu from different zones, and people asked him, at least you did mathematics, elementary mathematics in primary school. Calculate it. How many from Southwest? How many from other regions? You removed Doris Uzokanite as substantive Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. You now made her a Minister of State for Finance. What is that? You removed the other woman as Minister of Women Affairs. What was that? And you put, you removed Doris Uzokanite and you put one Yoruba woman there. And the others, what did you now made a Bianca Ojukwu, a Minister of State for Foreign Affairs. That's rubbish. I will say clearly, that's arrant nonsense. It shows that this is a government founded on nepotism, a government of people who are not out to serve Nigerians, who are just out to serve narrow, selfish, bigoted, divisive interests. And it's a shame. Shame on them.
All right, so while we, of course, look at that particular matter, nepotism and the fact that Nigerians are not in love with themselves, as we can see with the disparity in leadership and putting things in order. Let's take a look at another similar issue, but this outside of the country. UK citizenship, Badenoch didn't single out Nigeria Foreign Ministry. Emeka Madunagu, I know you would have watched the viral video by Kemi stating the obvious and how that the Conservatives desire to make it even harder for immigrants to obtain citizenship in the UK. From 5 years, she's pushed it to 15 years, and for those who are
no, she's proposing because her party is not in government.
Yeah, but that is what she is already putting in ground, to persuade the people, to
vote them.
Yes, exactly. Of course, and people fall in line with such ideology like we have seen with Donald Trump. But speak to us on this particular matter. Is she being over enthusiastic with this issue?
Kemi is talking nonsense. You see, let me tell you, she's deliberately attacking Nigeria. I said it on Facebook yesterday. Somebody came attacking me. I just said the problem with some of you is that you're in government, eating government money. So you pretend not to see the realities around you. That's your personal problem. Nigeria has the highest immigration rate in Africa to the UK. What are we talking about? Who was she talking about? Was she talking about Cape Verde or Mauritius or where? Or Seychelles or what? She was talking about Nigeria. That is clear. It's clear from her pronouncements. She's talking about Nigeria. She was talking about Nigeria. So, but I think Kemi Badenoch is overreaching herself. She's being pushed. Yes, there are interests that are pushing her. But the point is that she herself should be wise enough to know, where to, draw the line. Why do I say that? You see, when the UK moved, did the Brexit, and moved out of the European Union, the idea was that, okay, people who had EU citizenship, who didn't have British citizenship, had to leave. Many of them left. And there was a vacuum in Europe, like what's going to happen in the United States of America as time goes on. So there was a vacuum. The people who were pushing you, Brexit, they were not ready to do the work that these people with European citizenship were doing. It's just like the very people now going on social media and all of that, doing all of this. People like Elon Musk jumping up and down. By the time all of these immigration policies begin to show their horrible effects, Elon Musk cannot come and do the job. He's kicking people. He's saying people should be kicked out. You cannot do the job. You can't run a bureaucracy like you run one company, your personal company. You cannot do that. It's going to collapse. And what you're doing is that you're weakening the United States of America. How can you say that CIA employees will be known? Who does that? It's only people who are just, confused and out of sync with realities. Simply because you feel you want to score a point. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump will carry everything. All these guys are going to abandon him and run away.
But
that's
speaking about...
So, talking about the immigration, look, how can you say 16 years? Kemi herself is an immigrant now.
Definitely.
How can she say 16 years? When she gets into power, let her implement 16 years now. Will it be worse than what they did to Jamaicans? Some Jamaicans who were moved to UK and allowed to work and eventually they were forced to leave the UK because they were told they were not citizens of the UK. Will it be worse than what they did to Mohammed Fayed, the owner of Harrods, who was denied citizenship?
Really?
Yes, he was denied, even though he spent many years in the UK, till he died. So, you see, when you have people who are narrow-minded, yes, Kemi Badenoch, she may have made some points about, the situation in Nigeria and all of that, yes. But I think, to some extent, she's not intelligent. I say clearly, she's not intelligent. She lacks emotional intelligence. She should know that one of the sore points globally, today is actually immigration. You've got to be careful when you talk about immigration. You've got to be careful. You've got to put on your thinking cap. You've got to know that, look, there is no country that expels, that there's no country that doesn't need immigrants. Migration is a human right. People have a right to migrate to anywhere, as long as they stay within the law, as long as they do that legally. But you have situations where you have illegal immigrants. But the thing is this, these people, are actually there to make up for. They actually have to make up for, shortfalls, for deficiencies in the workforce. Now, when you say 16 years, who is going to wait for 16 years to become a UK citizen? Is that so fatal? When there are other countries that are willing, she didn't even look at certain other things. By denying Al-Fayed citizenship, but you are still collecting taxes from him, it shows they are running an unjust and inequitable system. And that is part of the colonial legacy of Britain.
Which she
criminal,
of.
She's a casual, and she's also trying to be a beneficiary, but she will end up being tossed out. Nobody's going to make such a loose talker a prime minister. She can't become prime minister of Britain. She can't, because you see, Sir Keir Starmer, who is the current prime minister, there were certain promises that Labour made to the people, but can they fulfill them? The answer is no. So Kemi Badenoch, yes, people may have hailed her, yes, but she should also apply some emotional intelligence to the things she says, because the world today doesn't give a hoot about you. There are countries like Brazil that are now giving birthright by citizenship by birthright. There are countries all over the world that are looking for people. Japan is already in a population crisis. Many cities in Japan are abandoned. They are now thinking, okay, how can we address this citizenship issue? You had the United States, they did diversity, visa
which has been there for a very long time.
Yes, they did it. Each year they were taking in 55,000. You will see after Trump leaves, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. So the point is that you cannot joke with immigration. You can't play politics. There's a limit to which you can play politics with immigration. If you say, okay, 16 years, let the conservatives get into power first of all. Let them get into power first. Implement it and see how easy it is. You are going to be impeached. Because the conservatives cannot easily ride into power right now as it is in the UK. Just ride to power like that. So nobody, no party is going to support such a thing because of the experience they had from Brexit. You can see that the UK now has been putting out adverts, inviting people from different countries, because the European citizens who were the ones driving those trucks, they left. Driving trucks, transporting foodstuff and other things, they left. Nobody to drive the trucks. They now have to start bringing out, certain visas. That if you're a truck driver, if you're a technician, if you're an artisan, we'll give you a visa. Let her try it with the 16 years. She'll be shocked that people are going to tell Britain, stuff yourself with your visa. Stuff yourself with your citizenship. We don't need it.
Very true. Emeka, let's speak to this particular, just before we leave the Vanguard newspaper for a bit. Minister pushes for a transition from 934 to 12-4 system, which means that the JSS and SSS that we have, junior secondary school, senior secondary school, that we have would be no more. That is what the minister
See, that's when you take the wrong people and put them in position. That man is a medical doctor. You go and put him in education. Does he have the historical background of why 6334 came into being? It was meant to build up the skilled workforce of Nigeria. That there are people who may not be able to, maybe due to economic circumstances, may not be able to make their way into tertiary institutions. So that, okay, if what they have is the Bicker, the GS3 certificate, if that's what they can get to, that can be used as a leverage, to get into further skills training. So instead of going ahead, through the regular system, the conventional system, they could go and learn skills.
Which was the reason technical schools were
yes.
Were
You're now saying that should be 12. What kind of thing is that? It's utter nonsense. The world has gone away from all that. Because the point is this, what exactly are you teaching children? Obi is a boy, which they can see on your phone. Janet is a girl, they can see it on your phone. All of these things can be, what you really need are skills to navigate life. And that is grossly lacking in the educational system in many countries, including Nigeria. It's lacking because you just find out that, they just teach children, this is the picture of a grasshopper. But they don't teach children, this is how to handle conflicts. This is how to handle your finances. This is how to handle this. And then at the end of the day, what do you get? You get a lot of dysfunctional adults
Sure.
who cannot cope with life challenges.
True. All right, let's quickly wrap up with the Guardian newspaper for today. And we have the talking point here. Grim realities in Southeast as gunmen dictate funeral terms. That's the big story. And it's on 4 and 5 of 4 and 5 page of the Guardian newspaper. Emeka, of course, this is no longer issue, especially for some of us that are from the southeast of
No,
Nigeria.
you know what I would do? Sorry to interrupt you. Don't waste your time on this story. Whoever wrote this story should have published it in December. Maybe this was a story that we published in December. They are publishing now. It's all a lie. There's nowhere in the southeast where this holds any longer.
Really?
Nowhere. The last one was in Ihiala now, and they've gone after the guys who did that, who killed somebody. You know, I have a family member who could have been involved in the last killing in Ihiala, where they killed a physically challenged person. You know, because the man who was doing the burial, I think his father or his mother, you know, didn't settle them, and then brought soldiers, took to his father's house. You know, while they were waiting for soldiers to come to the venue of the burial, that was where they attacked, killed the vigilantes and all of that. Such things are fading away. You see, in Anambra, if you do it, then the combined team of security will land there and wipe all of them out. It is simple.
But let's not forget that issues similar to this one are still very evident in the southeast of Nigeria. The gunmen or non-gunmen are still there.
No, those are just criminals. They are being caught now. They are being caught and they are being taught a lesson. It's not this thing. I spent time in the southeast this year. Much of last month I was in the southeast. I moved around the 5 states of the southeast. And I do know that all of this, is it in Enugu State? Go and try it in Enugu State. Peter Mbag will show you that there's only one man who is a governor. It's only in Ebonyi State that situation is not really clear, you know. Talking about the attack, you know, allegedly by Fulani headsmen and all of that. It's not too clear right now what really happened, because even the governor on social media has not said anything about it. Is this in Abia State? Of course, Alex Oti wouldn't allow that. Maybe.
Also, it's still ungovernable.
No, it is gradually being cleared. Let me tell you, they are being cleared. They are being cleared gradually. Because even the local people are rising against them and said enough is enough. You cannot continue to use our land to kill people. Let me tell you, there will soon be a big push by the military, by this combined team of security to flush them out. It's just a matter of time. Because the president has said he can no longer... The commissioner of police for Anambra State was removed now. Because he was sitting there and needs security. So they removed it. Within under 24 hours, it was removed. They brought somebody else and told him, giving him matching orders. Yeah, because they were looking at it that the Agone Chamber, the vigilante set up, the vigilance group set up by Governor Chukwuma Soludo, Anambra State, was now making the things that the police had not been able to do for long. And they were now making arrests, you know, making discoveries. So it was embarrassing that the police just sat there and these guys, you know, are making all these discoveries, you know. So even look at yesterday now, they went to Werezukala in Orumba South local government, you know, and they arrested some people. The guys who killed Justice Zuka of the Anambra State House of Assembly, they caught them immediately. The 6 of them were yesterday. They were all picked up with their accomplices and everything. They were picked up. The 100 million naira they took from his account has been recovered. So, talking about funeral terms, maybe 2023, 2022, but not anymore.
But let's not forget where all of this stemmed from, and that is the agitation for Biafra, which of course is still there. The apathy is there. Communities still find a way of keeping to themselves, you know, the realities of some of this insurgents in their communities that are there with the hope of safeguarding their community.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
I understand quite all right. There are a few communities here and there, you may have all those things. Yes, the issue of Biafra, sadly a lot of criminals cashed in on it and turned it into a kidnapping bazaar. Because some of the people who were even pushing the Biafra thing didn't even understand what they were talking about. They didn't understand what they were pushing. What's his name? The Masob man, Wazurike. He's now calling for one Nigeria. He didn't understand what he was pushing for. He didn't understand. We are talking of restructuring. We want restructuring. We want a just and equitable society. Why are you now turning the Southeast into a place of confusion where hoodlums, brigands reign, criminals. They just go and kill people. And is that what we're talking about, Biafra? No. The governors of the Southeast should come together in a meeting. I expect they should come together this month, February, and resolve to, within 30 days, clean up every inch of Southeast territory. Clean up every inch. Because some of them actually allowed the infiltration of, some foreign elements.
Due to bad leadership.
Yes, former governors who allowed some of this rubbish to take place. But now, those foreign elements have been flushed out. So it is now those internally who are causing problems internally that are being dealt with. So the issue of Biafra is even out of it. It's a genuine agitation by the people, for equitable, for equitable treatment and all of that. And I do know that, like I've said, while you are pushing a cause, you should not close the door to negotiations. You should use that cause to advance your negotiation, not use the cause to close the door to negotiations, which is a big mistake.
On the part of Nnamdi Kanu.
It was a big mistake on the part of Nnamdi Kanu, on the part of some of the people who are pushing this, on the part of Simon Ekpa now turned it. Immediately there was a vacuum, when Nnamdi Kanu was rendition. Simon Ekpa, an outright criminal, turned the whole thing upside down and was making broadcasts encouraging the killing of people. That's why everything went haywire.
And you think his resurgence might not spike the issue?
No, there's no resurgence.
Beginning again, no. Because he is to be the case in Finland should come up by May.
May next year, yes.
Yeah. So who knows what will happen? Nigeria is not Finland, of course. If he
no,
has
he's not going
good
to.
Case,
no, he doesn't have any good case. They've frustrated him financially now, from what we are hearing. They are seizing his assets and the assets of those who have been facilitating all this. Have you heard those people who declared the Biafra Republic? Have you heard from them again? All those characters who came out and said they heard. Have you heard anything from them again? Have you heard any of them talking about Biafra Republic government in exile? Have you heard any of them? Those ones are comedians now. They are clowns. Those are clowns who are just looking for relevance, deceiving people here. And then inciting jobless youths to go and kidnap people, collect money, and be sending to them blood money. They will all pay for it one after the other.
Very true. All right, that's just about the time we have for this particular segment. And just to let you know, Emeka, we'll be here to put us through and, of course, have a conversation on our main issue for today. That is when we return, where we have it. The House Committee recommends 31 new states amid the rising debt and minimum wage talk in Nigeria. That's in the beat. Still Enterprise TV. Please don't go anywhere.